Hey guys, thank you for tuning back in. This is Trade with Ellie. This is all things travel A to Z, and today we are leading with E, heading to Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is located in East Africa, and it is such a beautiful, fun, and amazing country for a number of different reasons. I was fortunate enough to be able to go travel there a couple of years back while I was doing an East African tour and going through a number of different countries on the eastern side of Africa, right? So when I got to Ethiopia, I learned a lot of new things that I didn't know. First and foremost, when people tell you, right, when people tell you that it is not cold in Africa, I want you to know that they're lying. Okay? They are lying. And I learned this the hard way. My sister and I are normally extremely thorough. We usually look up the weather, do the whole 9 yards when we're planning a trip or going somewhere, and we really figure out all the logistics and everything before we go. But for some odd reason on this part of our trip, we kind of just were like, you know what, we're doing East African tour, it's gonna be beautiful, it's gonna be hot. It was August, and we thought, we'll just be able to have our summer clothes, some flip-flops, some sneakers, and we'd be fine because we knew we wanted to do a lot of outdoor things. We get to Addis, right? And guess what? It is winter there. It is winter. We have no coat, have flip-flops and sandals, and we're freezing. So anytime, if you're African and your family members come home, my family does this, and they talk about the family back home, oh, ha, 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 they're wearing coats and jackets like it's cold outside. It is cold. It is cold. Do not let them lie to you. It is cold. Make sure you check the weather. So that was a nice rude awakening. Now, it was summer in the States, right, because it's August, and in a lot of the other countries that I went to, just about all of them were nice and extremely hot. And of course, Ethiopia was not. So that was something that was very different. Another thing that I experienced there was I didn't realize that in Ethiopia, they were just on a whole other time zone. And when I say that, I mean they're not in the same year as us. See, we follow the Gregorian calendar. They actually follow the Julian calendar. So they're about 7 to 8 years back. So funny enough, while we're there, we're on a campus, right? My friend is showing us around the campus. She's from there. And so she was just taking us around to different places she thought we'd like to see. And that, it's something, most people care to see when they travel. So we're on the campus. We're going to see it. I forgot why. And they have like this big sign there. And it says, congratulations, class of 2007. I believe that was the year. And so we're just like, oh, they're having a reunion. So, we didn't really say anything much about it. And later on, we're having a conversation and we mentioned something about a reunion or the year reading 2007. And she's like, no, actually, like, that's the year that we're in here. And we're like, oh, come again? And she's like, yeah, like, we follow a different calendar. So, it's not the same year or whatever. And honestly, I didn't know that. It's something I did not know, so that was cool. It's like you're really like traveling in the future and then you travel to the past, like it took time travel to a whole other level, which I thought was really cool. But that was something that I definitely learned there while I was there. And it was just really, it was different from a lot of the other African countries I've been to for just small reasons. Not too much, because you kind of go to one, you almost go to them all. It didn't feel as friendly, or at least tourist friendly, compared to some other countries, because everybody price gouges, right? They were price gouging us, so that wasn't anything out the norm, but it was just a little bit more than we were kind of used to. A lot of things were really expensive, like ridiculously expensive. I think my sister ended up buying shoes for $90 because we were going out and we didn't have any shoes to go out in, and everyone gets dressed up, so we're like, oh great, we of course we go to the place and leave behind all our going out clothes, and we just have like our lounge clothes or whatever. And so I found it to be really expensive. Definitely a lot of beautiful cities and different terrains. But one thing I did get to experience there that I really loved was Buhay. It's a holiday that's celebrated there with Ethiopian Orthodox. And it's basically a holiday that celebrates the transfiguration of Jesus. So that was really, really cool to be able to spend that holiday with my friend and her family, and to be able to, sing the songs that they do and partake in the festivities of the night. So check it out.
For weeks in August, Ethiopian boys dress up and perform songs from door-to-door neighborhoods across the country. In return, the boys get mulmul, that's bread freshly baked for the occasion in each house. Known as Buhe, the festival has its origins in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. It marks the transfiguration of Jesus on Mount Tabor. I started participating in Buhe when I was 14. I get very excited when the time for Buhe comes around because it is the commemoration of Jesus appearing in a supernatural light. Buhe is also a tradition where young people are reminded to value older generations. The songs are written and performed in praise of adult elders. But over time, the tradition of Buhe has struggled to stay alive, especially in urban locations like Addis Ababa, a city undergoing its own transformation, but churches are trying to revive the celebration to its old glory. The new generation has the responsibility of learning and continuing the traditions of its fathers as we age. It has the responsibility of upholding national tradition instead of following foreign traditions. Buhe also marks the last days of the rainy season. Religious leaders and Orthodox faithful take the time to give thanks and pray for a good harvest. They also take time to reflect on the biblical significance of the events. We light a bonfire to represent the light that was illuminating when Christ appeared. The bread signifies the fact that mothers took bread to their shepherd boys who stayed out late because they thought it was still daylight, but it was Christ's supernatural appearance. So all the cultural activities you see in relation to Buhe have their origin in religion. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church is one of the pre-colonial Christian denominations in sub-Saharan Africa and is estimated to have between 40 and 45 million followers.
I hope you enjoyed that and learned a little bit more about Ethiopia and all it has to offer. So I'm so excited for you to check out my next video to see where I go for F. I had to think about the next letter. For F, where I've gone, my experience and things that I'd love to share. If you've been to Ethiopia before and you had an amazing experience, I'd love to hear about it. If you didn't, I'd love to know why. If you went to a different city, outside of Addis, I'd love to hear more about it. I had an amazing time. I got to spend some time there with friends. We had just made and people we met from just like a week ago of meeting and hanging out in a previous country in the East Coast that I might share with you later on at some point. But it's definitely a beautiful, beautiful country, a lot to offer and so much to see. So if you're ever able to travel there and you're in East Africa, make sure to add that on your list. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.